Hi, welcome to Jackie Burns Creations. We are just our imagination, and our co-hosts today are Craft Away with May, Z9 Designs, Rustic and Lace, and DIY with Kathy Jo. We are to use yarn, a bottle, Bandaids, and dice. I forgot what I was supposed to use. So anyway, this is a big distilled water bottle that I cut the top off of, and I'm using some DIY paint and putting some salt wash in there. Salt wash will give it a texture. I could make it really, really thick where it'd almost be like a plaster, but I wanted to leave a little bit in there. I put just a little water in the jar. And I did miss some big steps. I painted it black and let it dry, and then I dabbed on some gray, mixed some white in with that black, and that's the part I missed, was the gray. And then I whitewashed it, or dry brushed it with white, and I think that's in there. And here are my dice. I am painting all of them white. I have one big one and three small ones. The three small ones are plastic, and they came from Amazon. The big one came from Dollar Tree. The little ones are kind of cool. They have dice inside of the dice. But they weren't that expensive. And they came in kind of a big jar, and I can use them for other things. Had a hard time finding the foam dice at Dollar Tree. So anyway, I'm painting them all with DIY paint. It's called white linen. It has a self-leveler in it and a sealant. Okay, here's my Band-Aids. I think my son got these at Sam's Club or Costco, and they came in a great big package of all different sizes, so that was cool. So I'm just looking to see what sizes I want to use. There was one that was a travel one, and I just put it in my office because I'm always doing things to myself. There's some pretty big ones in here too. So I think it was a pretty good deal. And he's had them for a while, so that worked out perfect. So I'm pulling out some little ones, and I pulled out little bigger ones. Now I've got cereal box cardboard, and I am putting down some Band-Aids. I'll let you guess what they're for. Now, I didn't separate these into projects because this is all one great big project for Easter. And I think it came out very cute. I'll tell you, the Band-Aids threw me for a loop. Thank you, May. No, May's really a sweetheart. I think she stumped herself with the Band-Aids. They're almost as good as the Pooper Scooper was. This is such a fun collaboration. I love it. I've been with Brenda Brenda and Kathy Jo since the first when they first started it. And I've always thought, how would it be if everybody was given the same object, and what would they make with it? And so these two came up with it. And I thought, wait a minute, this is great. And I love it. It really, really makes you use your imagination and your creativity. Sometimes not so good, but most of the time it's pretty fun, and you amaze yourself of what you're coming up with. So thank you, Brenda. Kathy Jo. Did I call you Kathy Lee? Oh my God, I hope I didn't. It's Kathy Jo. Love that girl. Love Brenda too. I've known Brenda for quite a while, almost since she first started. We've been in other collabs together. Okay, now I am putting the Band-Aids in a circular kind of fashion, and I am making a flower. Just without copying one of us, or you could copy one of us, go ahead and try some of these strange things that we've been using. It really is a challenge. My son even suggested I should use the wrapper in the middle part of the flower and curl it up, but it wouldn't take paint because it's kind of waxy. So I made 2 different types of flowers on this sheet. And I actually made a 3rd flower, but it was terrible. So in the garbage it went. Not everything we make is perfect. What's funny is I think the Band-Aids took me the longest. So again, thank you, May. I just have to tease her. She's the funniest girl. Another coat. I actually ended up going over it quite a few times because where the gauze is, it showed through the paint for a while. And there I am doing you can see the gray on there already, but I'm doing the dry brush of the white. And you can really see the texture popping out on that. Okay, and here I am painting. Can you still guess what I'm making? Putting a little light pink on there, and I will be painting the flowers. Now I painted these with some clay paint, but I didn't like the results so well, so later on you'll see that I go over it with acrylic. The clay paint's fantastic, but didn't work on these real great, even with the clay paint over the top of it. It was a little too streaky for me. It's a pretty pink color. Now I'm putting just a little darker pink in there. But it just wasn't blending the same way. I've gotten it to blend on other things like wood. But that's one thing about paint. You can always go back and correct. It's probably a good thing that I put the white down, because I don't think it would have taken so well on top of it. I did the other one right on top of it, and it cracked and peeled and came right off. Okay, now I'm cutting out. Now I've got 3 littler ones, and I want the littler ones to stay together and want to leave a little bit of a flap on the bottom so I can glue it on the dice. Have you figured it out yet? Oh my gosh, I just got a message that they had a terrible earthquake in the Caribbean. And they just had a great big aftershock. Okay, now I've got another box, and I am gluing the back of it down too, so I get a unprinted back. Make it a little thicker. And I got this box of these crocheted doily things, and there were these little tiny flower-like crocheted in there, so I just put a little glue on and popped them right in the middle. I don't know how well you can see them, but they're really delicate. They're really pretty. It was a good deal on that box. It had rickrack in it. You know me, I love thrifting, love repurposing. Now I'm painting the backs. I was really surprised at how long these took, but oh well, they look cute. That could have been a whole video in itself. Maybe I'll have to try some more. Just going over the sides. And I'm in a good mood because we've got some fantastic weather here in the Southwest. Of course, we haven't had any rain since about August. But that's what happens in the Southwest. And you need to check out the whole playlist. I know some people just will hit the first few, but just because somebody's at the end doesn't mean that their video isn't great, because there is some really fantastic crafters that join in on this. Some do every month, and then some just do every once in a while. So check everybody out. Even if it takes you a week to do it, just watch a couple here, a couple there. Because you know what? It just helps everyone's videos when they get watched. Thumbs up, subscribe. And some people really, it helps them make money. Me, I just do it because I love doing it. And I have to do it because I'd go crazy if I wasn't doing it. It's the best therapy there is. I know I've said it before, but there really is the best therapy. Talking to a doctor or therapist is good, but you want to get over some depression, grab some crafts. It's relaxing. If you put on some music, or even if you don't, I put on videos of other crafters, and sometimes even auctions. But it's the best thing you could do for yourself. I know this video's just a little bit longer today, but that's okay. It's a little harder to cut it down, because there's so many parts to it. Oh, no. Am I off camera? No, there I am. Since I figured out how to tighten up the bracket, the videos have been better, because they were like tipping the camera, and it was always out of sight of what I was doing. So it's being much better now. Oh, and by the way, I had to go get my fingernails done before I did the video, so they'd look pretty and I could make a mess out of them. Just doing a little touch up here. Okay. Now I'm going to do just a little bit of touch up with some acrylic paint. It's folk art, plaid product. I'm a plaid ambassador, but they work it way different nowadays than they did a couple of years ago. And I'm still not even quite sure how they're working it. If I'm supposed to do a video and send it in to them, or just give them the... If anybody knows, let me know, because I can't quite figure it out. So they took it down for a while. And then when I went to sign up again, they accepted me, but like I said, it's been very different. I got so much paint and Mod Podge and all kinds of cool stuff from them. Okay, I got some craft sticks that I'm painting a really pretty bright green. And I am pulling out some clay. This is the foam clay. I got these clay tools at Dollar Tree the other day. And they were $1.25. If you try to buy them at any craft store or on Amazon, they're a lot more than that. And they're plastic, so the clay doesn't stick to them. Now I made a little nose. I'm just using the tools to shape it, and I made some little circles and just patting them down. Be some little cheeks, and I'm giving it a acrylic pink paint for the nose. I kept thinking the noses looked funny, but that's how my bunny's nose looks. Maybe not quite as long, but it's just kind of almost a triangular shape. But it works. And I'm doing just a little dry brush on the cheeks. Taking a marker and making the mouth. This was a fine, fine marker to start out with, and then I got a medium-sized one. And they really do have almond-shaped eyes. They're not really above their nose like that. They're kind of on the side of their heads, but this is a pretend bunny. They are all black. You don't really see the white of their eyes. Giving him little whisker spots. And here's the big one. Making him a happy bunny. Happy, happy bunny. And I put a dot of puff paint or slick paint on each eye as a highlight. And on the foam one, I'm cutting a slit across the top. And I'm going to stick the craft stick in there to pry it apart a little bit. And I could take some hot glue and put the ears in there. So he's kind of a squared make-believe bunny. And I'm putting the craft sticks on the flowers. Now, coming up, I thought I showed you as I was putting the moss on the bottle. I had a tray that I painted gray also, and I put moss on top of the water bottle and kind of spread it out to make it look like a rabbit hole. And I glued the flowers in place, and now I'm putting some berries on there. Look like blueberries. But you can see how I put the moss on the top. It was kind of a green with a brown underneath it, so I just stretched it. It was a very different moss I got from Temu. Now here we are, all finished. Put one in the bungalow, or the burrow. Bungalow, duh. Burrow, and I put the other one on top and one of the babies outside and the mama. And then I went last night as I was thinking about doing the voiceover. I suddenly went, oh no, I'm not finished. I didn't use the yarn. So I jumped up this morning, ran out, made the yarn, and here it comes. I had this yarn for quite a while, which I think most crafters do, and I found these little pom-pom makers at Dollar Tree, and I'm trying for the life of me to figure out how to use it, because there weren't very many instructions, just mostly pictures. So I think I figured it out. You wrap and wrap around two of the arms put together, And I guess you can put on as much as you want. And I cut it off and closed it. Now I'm doing the other side. It's a really nice thick yarn. It would be a gorgeous sweater. So I'm using the bigger of the two. Now I'm trying to figure out how you do it. It says cut these after you put it back together. And I had to use the yarn because it was one of the items, but the bunnies need their tails. Clip, clip. Now, for the life of me, it took me a while to figure out how. Okay, oh yeah, it said take a string and you tie it together in the middle. But there's a pin in there, and it goes around. Had to pull it really tight because it hung up a little bit. Okay, now I'm trying to figure out. I open the arms up, and it loosens it. Or, yeah, open up the lid. And, okay, there the arms are. Now, how do I get it off that pin? And I thought, what in the world? I didn't want to cut it because that wasn't going to work. So I finally figured out, oh, you pull it apart, and then you put it back together with the pin. And then you just take and snip it all the extra threads off, and snip it around and around and around and shape it. And then I did the little one. Guess it doesn't really matter where you start at. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to take the other one and do it on my fingers, because that's always how I've done it, either on a piece of cardboard if I need a big one, or just on my fingers. And then you lay it down and tie your string around it. And then just pull it tight. And then you go and snip all the loops. I'm sure everybody's made a pom-pom before. I don't know, it was okay using that thing. It was fast once I figured out how to use it. So I snipped it down quite a bit because they're smaller and I wanted it to be nice and thick and fluffy. My gosh, you didn't need to see the whole thing. You know, and when you see our videos edited down to a reasonable amount of time, don't think you have to do it that fast. It takes sometimes days for us to make these things. and sometimes hours. I've worked on projects for 5-6 hours at a time, and then even come back a few days later and worked on them. A little more snippies. Snippy, snippy. It's fun to shape them up, though, how thick you want it. I've seen some people do them really, really thick. I'd like to see a factory where they make them sometime. Okay, now I am putting the pom-poms on the back for the tails. Now I'm done. I want to thank each and every one of you coming to visit, and I hope I see you again really soon. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up. Helps our algorithms. Okay, bye for now.